What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? It's Tuesday. We got 11 games on the docket. Not much weather to worry about, and it looks like a pretty fun one here, Gyiraszin. We're coming off a big night last night in the Discord. Plenty of screenshots in the Discord. We pretty much nailed the slate yesterday on the show. If you listened to the show yesterday, you probably had a pretty solid night in general. You followed the content and looked at the stone, etc. over here, and a lot of winners. I see our guy in the chat, KJB, out there, said he scored 195 with 2 pitcher zeros. Yeah, Framber can shove it up as you know what. Cost me a live final seat last night. Just the way the cookie crumbles, Gyiraszin, and those things are so hard to get there. But we regroup, we come back and tighten up those old bootstraps, and we got a fun one here tonight. What's going on, man? Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, good Tuesday here. I was saying it's cold as shit here in Michigan. It was like 70 yesterday. Today it's like, a little just too cold to where you got to wear a coat. It's kind of bull crap, but hopefully we get that by us. I saw Friday it's supposed to be like 80 around here, so it would be nice going into the weekend. But yeah, you're right. I mean, that's the thing about DFS, Nate. Sometimes you just barely miss, but you probably got a few fun coupons in your account, so it isn't so bad. But hey, the best thing about DFS, win or lose, you get to start over the next day, get a clean slate. Get to start. It's not like the season long. You start out 0-5, you're screwed the rest of the year, and it's like torture trying to play the shit out. DFS, we just, roll it again. That's the way we like it. So, but yeah, we got an interesting one. Like you said, no weather really to worry about. We're got some later games here, which generally, we see a lot of daytime games in the first few, weeks of the season. So got a full night slate. We got, I think, a pretty good mix on both sides, pitching and hitting, where I don't think there's anything going to be overly chalky. But, man, pretty interesting start to the season. What we've seen so far, Nade's like, man, we really got to watch that Angels. I mean, we got to watch that Sacramento Stadium out there with the A's. That's that one's been interesting. The Angels been smacking the shit out of right-handers, which we got to pay attention to. But, yeah, that's why Nade's I was fooling around yesterday, and I saw that home run to at-bat ratio for all the, right hand, left hand, and I thought, man, it's pretty interesting, which is something I'd like to look at. I always am, bitching. I don't like to play teams I don't think can hit home runs. But, in case of the Braves yesterday, they were on that left-handed list. Now, do we expect the Braves to be there all year? No. But are they on the list? Yeah. Are they going to figure it out? Yeah. And as our man Cheetah said, hey, they're due. So, Riley smacked a couple yesterday, had a really good day. But, man, I like to look at that because there's teams, like that are the usual suspects that we talk about don't have any power. And then it's like, the Royals and the Pirates and, Colorado. And I'm not stacking them teams on I don't give a shit who likes them. If that beats me, that beats me. But yesterday, I thought that was interesting. Shohei missed his third dong, as you said. But did you see the tweet where the dude had like a 6-leg home run parlay? And the wussy cashed out at $78 and he would have won $50K for $5. Man, somebody in there, whoever's near him, drive over his house and smack the dumb shit out of him. Like, just smack the shit out of him. $78 damn dollars. Are you kidding me? Don't even bet your 5 if you're trying to cash out for $78. What's wrong?
Yeah, I mean, those parlays are fun, right? Like when I go down to my girl's place in Illinois, obviously sports books are legal on there, and in Wisconsin, it's not quite there yet. You got to go offshore, etc., and it's just not fun. I like to just load up the old DraftKings Sportsbook or FanDuel Sportsbook app and just got the balance in there already. Anyways, throw a couple $5, $10 home run parlays on there, and you can turn it into 5-6 figures sometimes. And I mean, you're picking good guys, right? At least that's how I do it. I pick like guys like Ohtani, Judge, usual suspects you would pick, and when you parlay more of them together, because obviously the more you parlay, right, the better odds you get. And I've been close, and yeah, I mean, when you're throwing $5 on that, you're not looking for a cash out. You're looking for the ultimate prize, and what a donkey for cashing out there. I mean, scared money don't make money. Hope he takes his $78 and goes to the old diner, and maybe he can buy his family some dinner with that $78, but probably not even buy dinner in today's society there. So let's regroup here. Let's get the people in the chat here. KJB's in here, Michael Ortiz, Adam, our boy Rio's in the chat, Hebrew Cheetah, Stoner's in the chat saying, hey, bong rip season from Garden City, Colorado. Our guy old Gyirazin's partaking in some safety meetings. I know the Discord was throwing some over-unders out there for safety meeting conversations going on with Gyiraszin on the show. It's always fun.
I didn't say it. You can't count it that time.
Hey, he didn't say it that time, but hey, you got to have some personalities on the show. We come on here and we can't do it without the chat. So appreciate everyone tuning in here. Metro Broom, what's going on? Ricky, everybody. If you could hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. And if you haven't heard, DGen75, last chance to get in $75 off your first month. This includes all of MLB content. MMA's on a little break, but that's coming back. NHL playoffs are right around the corner. I got you covered there. We got PGA, another signature event this week coming off the Masters there. Get in $24 for the first month. Some places were charging that just for 1 week alone last week for the Masters. Don't go there. You get an optimizer with this as well. Try this out for a month. You're spending $24. Like I said, you can't even go to McDonald's and get buy you and your significant other dinner for $24 at McDonald's. Get in here and hopefully win a lot of money where you can buy whatever you want, right, Gyiraszin? Get in these streets over here. So ShipItNation.com, join now, DGen75, last chance to get in there. Gyiraszin, broad slate overview. We got 11 games. I think there's probably 10 to 12 teams you could stack up on the slate, and there's probably another 8 to 10 pitchers you could play on the slate. I mean, close your eyes, throw a dart at the wall. I don't know. I mean, we'll do our best to sort through it. Obviously, I did the slate plan over here. I like to do the slate plan, giving you a little break there. I know you're out there cruising around and doing your thing, and I work from home, got a little bit more flexibility. So when I'm on these shows, I like to at least throw the slate plan up there. So I try to break it down the best I could, but man, there's a lot of guys that I didn't even include on there that I certainly could. So what's your broad slate overview before we pull up Saber here, talk pitching, and kind of see what the dry run is looking like in terms of projections and what the kind of field is doing in terms of ownership?
I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, I think today we actually have a good mixture of a few high-end pitchers that are pretty good. We got a mixture of some salary-saving pitchers that we can look at. I don't think there's really anybody. I mean, to me, Flaherty's probably the best P1 on the slate, 30% strikeout percentage. But you know what? I mean, you kind of look at where he's at and, what's kind of below. It's like, is there really that big of a difference to pay that up in salary? I mean, so I think there's all kinds of ways you can go pitching today. I can't argue, 10 dudes that you could possibly use today. So, and then on the bat side, I think it's kind of the same thing. So, obviously Yankees are going to be in the discussion. Some of the usual suspects, but for an 11-game slate, I think there's a lot of ways to go. I think today's definitely a day, stacking it up 5-3, 4-4 on FanDuel, 5-3, 5-2. I mean, I see some people, I go through and I'll look at lineups and, they got kind of like a hybrid cash game kind of GPP where they'll have one stack and they're mixing up 3-4 different guys. I don't think today's the day to do that today with 11 games and as mixture as you have. So we don't have a, chalk heavy slate today. So yeah, it should be fun. We get to break it down, talk about it, figure out what we're going to do. And then get us a little bit of money coming off that Masters. I mean, even Rory choked a little bit there. You get back up, put your pants back on, you go back out. That's what DFS is all about. So I'll give it to Rory a little bit. I was rooting against him though. But I root for the Americans, man. I don't give a shit. It's always Ryder Cup to me. He's like, screw them damn foreigners over there across the pond. That's our hometown. I wanted Bryson to win. It just didn't work out. But hey, good times. Good time to be a sports.
Yeah, Bryson to shambles there. I'll tell you that. And I see our guy in the chat, Jake Swales, said, "Fuck Easton Lucas." Man, he made 3 bad pitches and it costed him. If you stacked Braves up, you weren't happy unless you had a mini stack of Murphy and Austin Riley. That's just the nature of it. And at least in my contests, maybe a one-off Riley hit the winners, but you weren't getting to the ticket window with Brave stack. So I was wrong on Lucas. I said again, MME, it's worth the leverage there, but it's more just poking holes in the Braves. And it was just 2 guys, right? The 2 guys that scared me the most, right? Who are the historical lefty mashers on that team, Gyiraszin? It's Murphy and it's Riley, clear cut and away the top dogs on that, and they got it done. So I know they gave Rio a couple sweats there, and you definitely weren't mad. But if you didn't have the Rays and you didn't have some other combinations around that, you probably weren't too happy there. So let's get into the slate. Let's go look at the kind of overview here. and I ran a dry run sorted by projected score with our partner over here at SaberSim, did 150 teams, and just sorted by exposures here. It wants significant leverage just naturally on Jeffrey Springs here, which I think is interesting. We'll talk about that. It's strictly driven by the matchup there. And then you see everyone else kind of just right there around the field. Max Fried, Charlie Morton, Flaherty, Ober, Pepio, right? It's just the nature of the slate. You got Kikuchi down there who's going to be pretty low owned. I was looking at some stuff. He gets that matchup there that's pretty solid in general. So what's your take here, broad slate overview on pitching before we go tier by tier, just on kind of what the optimizer's spitting out, what projections are doing, and what this kind of sets up for in terms of what you're going to do in terms of pitching?
Well, I mean, I'm glad I play on FanDuel. I only got to pick one. I mean, so that's pretty good. But I mean, for me, it's kind of easy on FanDuel. I'm chasing strikeouts, so it's kind of simple over there. But that SP2 over on DK, I think there's so many different options down below 8K at least. Being, I mean, you already mentioned Springs, McGill, Kikuchi, Pepio, Fetty, Knack, Ober. I mean, Morton. I mean, you can go all the way down the list. There's a handful of guys that are in play today. We generally don't see that really. Like I know we've talked before where we've only had one or two options that we're even looking at below 8K. So I think that's why today you're going to see quite the mixture. I don't even think today's a day where I feel like there's the bulk of the pitching can beat me, if that makes sense. I'm not afraid of the high end guys, right? Like I don't think there's a 14 or 13K strikeout really pitcher out there today. So I'm not really that concerned about pitching. So that's kind of why I think I'd kind of live in the middle of the pack a little bit more so today, kind of get you some bats. But yeah, I'm just not too afraid of the overall pitching slate. I mean, I think today's really build your team with your bats and whatever spot you got left, build your pitching with, like make it work. I really think today's that kind of slate where you can just focus on your bats. I know a lot of people, when they start building their lineups, they're putting in their pitcher first, but build it reverse, see what you come up with. You might end up on a guy, middle of the pack, like, Bailey Ober, who's had a lot of strikeouts in the past, that has done fairly well. Pepio, you might end up on Kikuchi. I mean, he's going to be, like you mentioned, he's going to be low owned. He's going to face probably 8 righties. I mean, so I think that's kind of interesting. McGill there, you got a lot of options. Springs against a shitty White Sox. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to go. So, really interesting slate, really. I think, this one I think is just whatever you like, whatever you want. I think you can build it up today, and you don't really need to be too concerned about too much ownership, being behind you or on your same size of fence as you. So, man, I think just roll with it. But FanDuel is a little easier for me today, just because the pitching and the salary is a little easier to get, the bat you want. Like, yesterday I was all excited, Nades. I built me a Yankee and Dodger stack. I was like, dude, this is money. Look at this. I was like so happy about it. And, of course, the Yankees couldn't hit out of a stinking wet paper bag. But this week.
Yeah. No, I think you laid it out perfectly. That's exactly what I put in the slate plan here today. I said I'm going to start with my bats, especially my 5-man stack, and then trying to figure out what pitchers can fit with it, because there's a lot of them. I mean, we'll go 8K and above here. And the two guys at the top, right, Schwellenbach and Hunter Brown, 10K and 10.5. In these matchups, do they really have that much more upside than a guy like, right? I mean, Kikuchi, Pepio, right? You got Bailey Ober down there at 6,700. I mean, you're paying $4,000 more for Schwellenbach, right? Is he really going to have that much higher of a ceiling? Do I think he's a solid play? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think Hunter Brown's a good play, especially after the flop of what Framber did yesterday in that same park, same matchup? I do, but is salary going to matter here tonight when we want to play? I want to play the Orioles. I want to play the Yankees. I want to play the Dodgers, right? Those guys are expensive, right? And you don't have an unlimited salary cap. So I think it's an interesting slate. Let's go 8K and above in terms of DraftKings scoring. In terms of ownership, it's going to spread. I'm not really too worried about ownership like I was more yesterday in terms of the bats, just because I could poke holes in the teams there. But in terms of pitching, there's really not, there's really not guys that are going to be quote unquote super chalky. I mean, Flaherty, I think, is by far and away my favorite pitcher on the slate, and he's projected to be sub 20% owned on this slate. So break down this top tier for me. I think it's interesting. You got Fried and Flaherty right there. I think I put them a step ahead for sure. especially at the discount on DraftKings from Schwellenbach and Hunter Brown. You got Imanaga there out there with that red hot Cubs offense facing a very watered down San Diego team. What's your take here in 8K and above? You got Mahle, Springs, Gausman, Imanaga, Flaherty, Fried, Brown, and Schwellenbach.
Yeah, we'll start at the bottom with Mahle. I'm just not quite sure yet what we're getting out of this guy, except some low strikeout percentages. He's got 29% to lefties, but really low to righties. I mean,
I'll show you what you do with Mahle right here. You go like this, and you just grab that, and you just unclick him real quick, and he disappears. He disappears from your player pool. Okay, continue.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do with Mahle. That is you can do some other things with Mahle, but we probably have to get on a different YouTube channel to talk about that kind of stuff. But either way, Springs, as you mentioned, I mean, the White Sox don't really strike out all that much against left-handed pitching. So, I mean, Springs looked really good coming out the gate there. If I'm right, 33 points coming out the gate, then 0.7. And then last start, he went 103 pitches, which, definitely but only 14 points. So he's had one decent matchup, and I think we're going to see a lot of that as we kind of talk about some of these pitchers today. They've had a nice start where you think, oh man, like Max Fried. Dude, I'd look into Max Fried a little bit and look at the dude's only had double strikeouts like twice in 4 years or some shit. It's like, something. So it's like, was that an anomaly that he, got, had all them Ks? So, you just kind of look at some of these guys, but, I can see why you'd want to play a Springs. I mean, White Sox obviously stink. I mean, you're looking at a decent win opportunity. Maybe they were on FanDuel. You could get you a quality start if you can get to that. But Gausman, I mean, he had a decent start last time. He had a really good start, actually, 10 Ks. So you're wondering what you're going to get out of that. I mean, Atlanta hasn't been that good. So, you wonder yourself, could you play a Kevin Gausman? Sure, I couldn't blame you. Aminga against San Diego. I don't really like the strikeout, opportunities there he's got. He went 77 pitches last start against Texas, didn't look all that good. So, again, like I said, you're looking at some of these guys and you like what you see behind one window and you open up the next and you're like, I don't know about that. Kind of worries you. But as I did mention, Flaherty, as you mentioned to me, 30% strikeout rate. But what has he had here? He's had 9, 7, and 5. Like, are we going to see the 14K game? I'm sure maybe one will come along the way here with Flaherty. I mean, he's pure strike pitcher. We get the Brew Crew. I'd rather, have a lefty against the Brew Crew as we had with Scooble yesterday. So, and that's another thing, I didn't mention, Tigers put a butt whooping on your squad over there. We'll just leave that alone because we kind of expect that now with our squad over here in the D. We expect them to be good, so we don't need to badger you for that ass whooping. Even though I did like my president yesterday badgering them Buckeyes, mentioning, "Hey, you lost to Michigan though" when he was there. But I did giggle about that, so that was pretty cool. But as you mentioned with Fried. I mentioned earlier, Friedman's last 2 starts look really good. He's had 17 Ks, been around that 100 pitch mark. So I think Fried here against Kansas City is interesting. And then you mentioned Brown, Schwellenbach. I mean, if I look at Schwellenbach, Brown, and Flaherty, I think those are the 3 that probably have the highest strikeout. I probably put just because of the salary. I mean, you're getting Flaherty $1,500 cheaper over there on DK than Schwellenbach. So just because of the price, I think Flaherty's got to be the easy SP1. As you mentioned, he's going to be below 20%. So Flaherty's going to have a long leash. I like it. He's got a strong bullpen behind him. But, I don't think he is overwhelmingly better than some of the options we see in the middle of the pack. So, but at 9K, you really can't fault that. I think that's a great price for what you're getting in Flaherty. But, to me, I think the pivot is Schwellenbach, really. I mean, you want to pay up that 10-5. I don't think you're going to see too many people do that. So Schwellenbach, I think for tournaments is really interesting. But I mean, like I said, there's so many different ways to go on this slate. I think that's what makes it a really interesting, good slate. You know what? Whatever your gut's telling you what you want to do, baseball with the variants, play what you like. But, I think there's a good mix of, options for everybody out there at all the different salaries, today. But man, we talk what Springs we'd play, Gossman, Flaherty, Fried, Brown. I mean, really going up. We only really crossed out one Molly, right? So, I mean, hey, I think it's it's a fun slate. I think it's going to be pretty good. I mean, hopefully we can nail our 2 stacks, and I think there's enough pitching to go around where you're not going to have to worry about it.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree there. I will say Flaherty, I like the discount. I just filtered by kind of flagship, single entry here to see what the ownership looks like. If I filter here to high stakes single entry, you see Flaherty hovering right around 18%. I think that's good. I got Flaherty and Max Fried as my SP 1 and 2 on the slate. If you can afford them, they're great. Hunter Brown and Schwellenbach, I think, are both fine. I prefer Hunter Brown. I just think there's some flop leg in there. I'd rather pick on the Cardinals offense personally, even after what happened yesterday, than pick on that Toronto offense personally. Toronto offense just even yesterday. I mean, Holmes was rolling, and then Toronto just kind of stuck around and got pesky. Right? They're both fine with the discount. I put Hunter Brown ahead, so it's Flaherty, it's Max Fried, 1-2 for me. And then it's probably Hunter Brown up here is my third favorite. Outside of that, I mean, Springs is fine if you want, but again, he had 7 strikeouts or 9 strikeouts, 8 walks, or 7 strikeouts and 6 walks in his last start over his last 9 innings. That's not very good. And this White Sox team just doesn't strike out as much right there against left-handed pitching. So I think there's some issues there with Springs. I think he's going to be back. His velocity and stuff when I was looking in and digging in is not where it was, but before his injury, right, that he had. But as you can see here, the dry run, I mean, Saber really wants to get overweight on Springs. Naturally, I think that's just going to increase his ownership leading up to lock here. And I think I'll use that more as a tiebreaker, right? Ownership on the slate when, like to your point, right? We crossed one guy out on over 8K, really, that we had no interest in Male. All these guys are fine. I mean, even Kevin Gausman rolled back the clock last start, and I stacked against him, and he kind of shoved it on me. Now he gets the Braves team against the Braves against the righty are just not the same, right? Braves, you want to play the Braves if you're going to play them against the lefty in particular is when I want to play them. And now you get Kevin Gausman coming off a decent start. For me, it's Flaherty and Fried really are my guys up here. And then I'm looking to save on pitching because there is a lot of guys below 8K, like you mentioned, right, in that mid tier that make a lot of sense here. So let's go below 8K. Tyler McGill has been pretty good this year. He's going to be pretty unowned. I mean, he's coming in right around 5 to 8%. Nothing to really worry about there. You got Kikuchi. Gets that matchup there against Texas, who hasn't been great this year. Pepio gets Boston on the road. Shane Baz just absolutely mowed them down. Yesterday, you needed him. Landon Knack, there's some pitch count concerns there, but he's $7,000 on the slate with a good bullpen behind him, with tons of run support. You expect facing the Rockies, right? One of the worst teams in baseball, if not the worst team. And then you got Bailey Ober and Charlie Morton down there at 6,700 and 6,500. Charlie Morton looked really good in his last start. He's got a solid matchup here against Cleveland, who we're not afraid this year to pick onto them with pitchers. At least I haven't been. And Bailey Ober has nice strikeout upside there against the Mets, that back half of the Mets lineup. So there's a ton of guys down here. Pick out some of your favorites and touch on them. Where are you looking here? Pepio and Landon Knack and Morton are the 3 guys that look to be the highest owned pitchers on the slate. So take that for what it's worth as well.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, we got a lot of options up and down the board here. So definitely interesting. I mean, I was looking at McGill when I was looking at FanDuel earlier. I was thinking, Minnesota just striking out a ton. Maybe, that's a good place, but I just don't like the opportunity. He hasn't even gone 6 innings yet. So, I mean, I want that quality start over there on FanDuel, but Pepio's interesting. I mean, he came out last start. He was. I think we were talking about Pepio last week, weren't we? Seems like we were talking about him, but I mean,
he was definitely on last week for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he gave up 3 home runs at last game, if I remember right, against the Angels. Angels been touching up all the seems like the righties here recently. So, I mean, the strikeout percentage is definitely there for Pepio, which you definitely like. But I mean, I think there's all kinds of different plays. SP2, like I said, Pepio 25% strikeout rate, Morton's 24, Knack 24, Ober 26. I mean, as we said, 22% is, what you're looking to be over. So you got guys all up and down the board today. I think all those guys can be in play. I don't really think there's too many, too many powerful arms up there that I'm worried about somebody giving up 15 Ks or putting 15 Ks on the board to where I'm going to get beat by a high-end arm today. I think Flaherty would probably have the best shot at that. Now, I'm not really overly concerned about now, if it was Skubal, I'd say, oh, man, like yesterday I was thinking, Skubal could have had the opportunity was there for a high upside. I just don't see that really today. So like I said, I think I'd be more apt to pay down in pitching. I mean, me just kind of looking on DK, I mean, I don't mind Kikuchi or Springs if you wanted to go that low, but Flaherty at 9K, I don't know how that's just not an auto click. That'd be an auto click for me.
Yeah, I mean, I love Flaherty. I'm with you there. It's pretty much Flaherty or Sale, and then punting one of these other pitchers. My favorite down here is Bailey Ober. I like the park. I like the matchup. I like the weather there in Target Field. I mean, it's temperatures in kind of the mid 50s, wind blowing out to right field, which is a little scary. I mean, you got 10 to 12 mile an hour winds blowing out to right field. But again, you got to kind of hit the ball, and Mets kind of have been struggling with that as of late. Obviously, the top half of that order is really scary, right? With guys like Soto, Alonso, Lindor, Nemo, who's been swinging a good stick. But the back half of the lineup, you're really not scared of too much there. So at the $6,700 price point in a pitcher's ballpark in fairly cold weather, I don't hate Bailey Ober. I think he's probably my favorite guy down here. Landon Knack, I think, is solid at 7K. But again, man, you have the consistent pitch count issues there. Dustin May looked really good yesterday. He was rolling, and he still got pulled from that game, right? Landon Knack, I think, has even a shorter leash. Saber has him right around 70 pitches. He's got to be super efficient on this slate because, I mean, he's got to outscore guys like Bailey Ober, Charlie Morton. He's got to outscore guys like Ryan Pepio, who's $400 more, Kikuchi, who's $800 more, right? More proven guys. You still have to be right, Gyiraszin, at pitching, even when it is a loaded pitching slate like this. There's so many options that are solid. Yeah, maybe it's not quite as loaded at the top end where if you don't have a guy like Flaherty or not Flaherty, a guy like Skubal or Shane Baz yesterday that you were kind of kicking yourself, right, when they go up and post a 35, 36 piece. I don't think that happens here today. So you got to just be worried. And Landon Knack also picking up ownership. I think that's an easy spot. I'm going to kind of jump off just with the pitch count concerns there. And it's just people are just looking at the Rockies, right? The matchup in particular there. I'd rather pick on the White Sox or pick on the Twins with a guy like Tyler McGill, who have a ton of strikeouts in that lineup in general there and a decent ballpark there. So pitching's loaded. I think we said a lot of words to say it's kind of pick one at the top and then spend down. I don't even mind two spend down options personally. But what's your kind of final thoughts here to round out the pitcher pool here?
Yeah, like I said, there's all kinds of options up and down the board today. Flaherty be my favorite on both sites, actually. But at 9K on DK, I don't know how you don't click them, be the SP1. I'd mix in a handful of other guys. But as you mentioned, we got guys all the way up on top. I think Schwellenbach is probably one of the better pivots on the slate. But, yeah, so I also see that, man, looks like I fired up the chat. All I did one time is mention one damn thing. And y'all blow it all out of proportion.
Yeah, I was gonna comment on
ass too. Yeah. I don't give two shits, man. I voted Democrat my whole fucking life, and I don't want to hear it. So whatever, I can like whoever I want. All I said was I didn't even say anything else about it, and y'all are gonna you freaking snowflakes. Then go on out of here. I don't give a crap.
Yeah,
man,
I was gonna comment on that.
I don't even care. I don't even like politics. Don't even bring that shit in here. If I want to talk whatever, mention that's the way it goes. I'm going to say Indians. I'm going to say Redskins. I don't give two shits, man. If I hurt your feelings, I'm sorry. I'm too fucking bad. God damn. Let's just have fun and do some baseball. And the A's, I don't give none of that shit. Y'all want to leave, call me names and crap? Fuck you.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel better.
I agree. You didn't even say anything. You literally said All
I said was the Ohio State goes to the presidency, and the president literally laughed at him for losing to Michigan. What I say? What I say? Our? Or you guys feel better?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. We're humans, right? We're not robots out here, and I mean, it is what it is, right? You can't please everyone. That's the way it goes, and you also want authentic selves, and we're not going to come out here and change for anyone out there. So hopefully that dude's day gets
better. How about
better.
every one of you drink and smoke a fat one with every one of you in that? I don't give a shit who you voted for, and nor would I ever hold any of that against any one of you. And anybody wants to call me a name or whatever else because what they insinuate, man, take the pronoun out your goddamn bio and let's go play some DFS. Come on now.
We're trying to win money, and it just turned south real quick. But hey, let's get back on track here. Who cares what anyone else thinks? If they don't like it, hey, it's easy to click the X button on your browser there and just move on to the next stream. There's plenty of free streams out there, and we don't pay you to be here. You don't have to be there, and you don't got to take it out in the chat. So let's move on here. Gyiraszin, give the people two of your favorite pitchers on this slate. We ain't gonna rank them. It's just too hard to rank when there's 10 arms you could probably pick from on this slate. But what's two of your favorites that you're looking to kind of plant your flag on here tonight?
You know what? I'm gonna go Flaherty. I think he's SP1, and man, I just got a gut feeling about Schwellenbach. Nobody's gonna click his name at 10-5. I think that's a great pivot. Got some upside there. So that's my two. That's the two I'm gonna go. I think Schwellenbach is definitely interesting play here today.
Yeah, I like that. I'm with you on Flaherty. He's my favorite guy. And then it's really close between Max Fried and Hunter Brown. Schwellenbach, I like that as well. But nobody's playing Schwellenbach or Hunter Brown, at least from the looks of it. Not many people are even playing Flaherty. So those three guys in particular I like a lot. And then my favorite cheap guy, already mentioned, is going to be Bailey Ober and then Ryan Pepiot. Those are kind of the five guys that I'm really looking at. Again, we mentioned a lot more. I got other guys in the slate plan. I'll be in the Discord as well, kind of breaking through it. But again, it's build your stacks first for me and then figure out what pitching works. I mean, if I can't make one of those top guys work and I have to play two of these guys below 8K, I'm definitely going to do it that way. If I can play two guys above and play cheaper bats, I'll do it that way. But I'm starting with my hitters first. And
you know what, Dave? Just not to cut you off, but I think what's a good thing today, like in the when you're fooling around with, the Sabre sim, whatever else, let's say it's giving you a bunch of springs. X out springs, see what's next. See what it gives you next with your stacks that you like. Maybe lock in your stack. See what kind of mix. I like to mix it up. Maybe see what kind of one-off. Maybe it upgrades your pitcher. Maybe it doesn't, So like when you're playing with the different builds, especially on days like today, I like to see what it gives me. Maybe it gives me different one-offs. It keeps giving me Vladdy Guerrero as my one-off. I X him. I want to see what else it gives me. Maybe it gives me somebody else. Then I want to see, okay, well, if it's giving me Flaherty and Springs today, let's take them out and see what it gives me after those guys. Like, I like to see, okay, X this guy out. What happens now? X this, what happens now? Like, I think that's the best way for me to kind of get an understanding of, what's next if that's not what's to click. Like, I kind of like to look at stuff like that. I think it's really interesting on a slate like today, like if you're building like last night, I was building my Dodger stack. What happens when I take Ohtani out? What happens when I take Mookie out? What happens when this? Does it give me more balanced lineup? Like, I kind of like to look at stuff like that to kind of see like, all right, what is it giving me? What's it telling me? What combinations are there? Let the computer think for you. I don't want to do that shit. It hurts my brain, man. So, I like to let the computer think, take ththings out, tell it what to do. And I think today's a great day to sit for like 30 minutes and just fool with it, see what it gives you, and you'll come up and be like, hey, and if you like the line, save it, go back. Like, I think that's something I'd like to do. I mean,
I do that. I do that a ton. I was doing that all the way up until lock last night. Had a really good night. I do that every slate. I virtual hand build is what I call it. So this is a dry run here. Obviously, I'm going to change things when I run my own teams and look through it, but as you can see here, like I filtered my Dodger stacks. Okay, so all these teams over here, there's 70 Dodgers teams. I want to look at what the exposures look like for pitchers. So obviously it sees, right, it wants kind of the mid-tier pitcher build that we saw, but it also allows you can still afford Flaherty and Fried. So if I click Flaherty, now who's it pairing with? Okay, Morton, right? Springs, Pepiot, Fried. Oh, what's a double spend up look like with a Dodger stack? Okay, it gives you an idea. And then you can go back, you can click these guys in, lock, and rebuild and give you additional combinations here. So, I mean, let the tool do it do the thinking for you. based on the inputs that you put into it, right? If you put good in, you're going to get good out. If you put shit in, you're going to get shit out, right? And you can't just let it do everything for you, right? This isn't a cheat code in today's society, in today's DFS world, right? Majority of the people that you're playing in, especially if you're playing in higher stake stuff, are all using sims. They're all using optimizers. So you have to take it the next step, right? Do additional things. Combine the tools, combine the optimizers, cross it over to our stone, our slate plan, and then the no ball aspect of these shows, etc. Like you and I watching the games. Okay, it's putting me on the Orioles stack. I'm not just going in here and playing these 5 bats. I'm going to go back over and look at the stone, look at the fly ball rates, look at those, and say, okay, maybe it's not these 5 Orioles hitters that I want to play, but maybe it's 5 other Oriole hitters I want to play. Lock those guys in there and then see what it does to build around that is kind of how I use it. I don't just take what it spits out over here and take it as Bible. I'm seeing what kind of combinations are working with the optimizer, working together, and then simming against the competition the best way. But I'm kind of hand plugging some of these guys, much like what you're doing. So that's taking it that additional step. We have tutorials and courses over here at SHIPIT Nation. That's how we teach you. We teach you how to build a process. It's not just who I'm playing here tonight. It's not my core up on the website is Bible, right? It's just helping you create a process, helping you use our tools to see and figure out how can you replicate that slate after slate, right? Because what if I'm not on the core report? What if Gyiraszin is not on the core report? What if we're on vacation? Something like that. We don't want you left in the dust and stranded there. So that's the importance of that. Let's jump over and start talking hitting here, Gyiraszin, because we talked about tonight, we kind of want to build our hitting stacks first here. And we start off with a pretty good game. At least the ballpark is probably one of the best on the slate. We saw it last night. The Rays popped off 15. If you didn't have the Rays last night, it was pretty much good night. They were on my main team. They were on the core on the website. But you're looking at 77 degrees, 12-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to right center field here. And the Rays got a lot of solid lefties. Walker Buehler, name recognition alone is there, but he's just not the same he has been after that extended time period off, the injuries. And the Rays, we talk about hot teams in baseball. They're one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. Do I expect them to go out there and put up 15 runs again? No, but do they need to put up 15 runs again at these salaries? Absolutely not. So I like the Rays quite a bit here again tonight. They're going to come in low owned again, as you can see here, because of the name recognition. Walker Buehler coming off a decent start. Red Sox, a little harder to get against, a little bit harder for me to get on the Red Sox side. But again, you're going to get leverage. Pepio is going to be probably, in relative to the slate, one of the highest on slate, one of the highest owned pitchers on the slate. And we saw a ton of guys down there in his range that we had interest in as well. Do you have any interest in any of these Red Sox bats in the same park, guaranteed 9th inning at bats, and then any Rays for you here tonight?
I mean, we got a game total 9. We only got 2 of those here today. Most of the other games are 7.5. I see a handful of 7.5 games. So, yeah, I mean, Tampa, you're right. I mean, they're top 4 in all of hitting here, especially with the last 15 days. They've been smashing. And as I was saying, how many times I said, man, that lineup's so ugly. But I guess we better get used to it because it looks like they're here to stay. So, I mean, they're a really cheap stack, obviously, but I mean, they put up a bunch of runs yesterday. I mean, there's going to be some recency bias. You see that quite a bit in baseball. So I think you're going to see some people jump on the Rays here again today. So, I think there's other spots, but I mean, as we go through all these 11 games, I think there's all kinds of opportunities here today for to stack up that, is a decent spot. I mean, I don't think there's one that's overwhelmingly good, but do I have any of these in my top 5? No, I'd say the Rays are probably right outside my top 5 here today. Could be in discussion for the top 5, but not in the top. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind the Rays. If I was multi-entering, I'd definitely have some Rays exposure here today. But yeah, I just there's too many other options here today. But hey, like I said, game total 9, can't argue.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, the Rays are not going to get played. I ran a dry run, 150 teams that wanted, the optimizer wanted to give me 2 Rays stacks in particular. All their ownership's low. So while recency bias is there, it's more so on the flashier hitters, right? Teams like the Braves, right? Teams like the Dodgers, the Astros, right? To your point, right? Cameron Misner, rookie, young guy. Jake Mangum, young guy. I mean, all these guys aren't sexy, flashy names, right? You're not seeing Ohtani, Betts, right? Jordan, all these guys. So I love the Rays here again tonight. Stolen base upside ton. These Rays run a lot. Taylor Walls will steal bases. Mangum is literally like flash out there. He'll steal. Misner will steal. Aranda, Caminero. I mean, these guys will run and they have power against Walker Buehler, who over the last 30 days has a power concern to righties. So a little bit of reverse splitsy there. When I look at kind of a bigger sample size there, it's kind of power concerns in general across the board, lefties and righties, a bigger lean to the left side. He is a little bit of a ground ball guy, so you want to more focus on the fly ball guys, which over the course of this season, the fly ball guys you're looking at are Aranda, Morel, Caminero, and Misner are kind of the top, and then it's Walls and Brandon Lowe. But I think the Rays are solid. Probably prefer them slightly more as a mini stack tonight than a 5-man stack like yesterday. But again, I mean, that bullpen got pretty tatered yesterday for the Red Sox. I mean, they went through 6 or 7 arms yesterday alone. So I always like picking on teams that have a taxed bullpen out there in a good hitting environment, good hitting park. And then on the Red Sox side, some of these lefties, the fly ball guys, and then add in guys like Bregman who are playing good right now. Story is hitting good right now. And Christian Campbell just continues to absolutely nuke and has a ton of speed himself as well. So
yeah,
I like this.
That playing a little small too. And, at FanDuel, get your shit together. They're not in the dome anymore. When you click on the weather over there, they're not in the dome anymore, FanDuel. They're playing in the Yankees spring training stadium. But I saw that in the chat. I saw, Rio mentioned the stolen base upside for Tampa. They're third in Major League in stolen bases so far this year. So the other teams that are up there, Cubs, Mariners, Rays, Astros, Red Sox. So you got 2 of the top 5 teams that steal bags in this game here. So
yeah, I like the new ones. When I'm doing it, I'm kind of seeing on what combinations are, and then I kind of hand plug around to get the batters on the 5-man stack that it gives me, and then kind of lock those guys in and rebuild. So like when I'm done, I'll have 7 or 8 builds of different tabs in Saber. And looking through the teams just to give kind of different settings. But that's kind of how I do it. When I do MME in baseball, I do set min maxes on the pitchers in particular. And then I'll tweak the min maxes on the stacks, not individual hitters, and just kind of play around with it that way is what I have been doing. But I don't MME too much in baseball. I'm going to do it tonight just because I like the 20 max stuff. And I think it's more of a spread out kind of slate. But typically I'm playing 2 main teams, 3 main teams a night. And I kind of lock guys in, see what the optimizer's giving me, and then make adjustments that way. So I wanted to hit on that real quick. Next game on the slate, this is my favorite stack of the night here, Gyiraszin. It's Logan Allen. And what does Logan Allen do? He gives a ton of fly balls, ton of power. And Baltimore, it's a pretty good place to hit in general. Pretty good weather here tonight as well in Mr. Camden Yards here, Oriole Park, whatever you want to call it. 60 degrees. And almost 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to that short porch in right field there, Gyiraszin. I love the Orioles, and I'm pretty surprised that their ownership is pretty low compared to the slate. But when you have the Dodgers, you have the Yankees on the slate, naturally, they're going to soak up a lot of ownership in general. I think these always go overlooked here, and I'm not afraid of Logan Allen. I was looking at some things. He's like less than 2-1 to give up 5+ runs in this start based on simulation data. Highest on the slate by far. I think the O's can do it, and they got stolen base upside as well built in.
Yeah, I mean, Logan Allen, 251 ISO to righties, 219 to lefties. I mean, when, I already was looking earlier, when Nades asked me who I like to hit a home run, I was thinking Mountcastle might hit me a home run here today. So, Orioles are definitely interesting in this one. Definitely I'm going to be looking at some Orioles. I like the righty Tyler O'Neill, Westberg. I think, you could even play old Dirty Sanchez down there if you want a cheap catcher. So I don't mind this one at all. I think it's an interesting stack. As we mentioned, I think offense is going to be kind of spread out today. So I think, there's going to be some offenses you're probably wondering, why isn't anybody playing them? But I think this is definitely one on a, 5 or 6 game slate. I think this is pretty obvious chalk. But man, I think it's a pretty good spot here for the righties and the Orioles.
Yeah, I mean, their chalk is all relative, right? I just don't think they're going to pick up a ton of ownership in general based on what I'm looking at and stuff. And again, I mean, Yankees and Dodgers in particular, I mean, amongst those 3 spots, everyone's going to eat from each other. So chalk really is not going to matter. It's not like a Braves yesterday that were pushing, I mean, pretty much their entire lineup. The guys you wanted to play were all pushing 30% in some of the higher stakes stuff. I will say there is some pinch hit concerns on the back half of this Orioles lineup. Guys like Laureano, pinch hit concern. Maybe Mateo a little bit, but not necessarily. Sanchez probably pinch hit concern a little bit there. So there is a little bit of risk. I'm not taking that into account too much. You talk about lineup position a lot and order position. Jordan Westberg never hits leadoff, and he's hitting leadoff here tonight. You talk about that quite a bit. And he mashes left-handed pitching. So I really like him. You can play him at second base and third base. Gunnar Henderson usually hits leadoff. He's down in the 4 spot, lefty. Nobody's going to play that. And all it takes for him is to get a walk. He's stealing second base. You're looking at 7 points right there out of the gate. So I like the Orioles a ton. Mateo is always one of my favorite guys to play. He's basically stolen minimum. You can play him at a shitty second base position, and he's got stolen base upside. I mean, Mateo gets on base, he's stealing, right? They use him to pinch run all the time, Gyiraszin, in these games, because what does he do? He gets on first base and he swipes second instantly in scoring position. So I like guys like that. I again talk about it all the time. I sound like a broken record. People don't account enough for stolen base upside in today's world yet for DFS. I don't think the Sims account for it enough. I don't think anybody accounts for it enough. And I think that's a big leverage play. It's been working for me this season. I've had a very good year so far, and I've played a lot of stolen base guys. We'll talk about another one later on.
The bags are bigger. They can't throw over there anymore. Everybody was talking, Otani 40, 40, 50, whatever it is. I'm like, man, the bags are bigger and they can't throw over there no more. Everybody
right. They get two tosses over. They have a pitch clock. So the runners sit there, right? And they time them. Okay. They look at the clock. When's he throwing? Okay.
Right.
They get a perfect jump and they have a bigger bag, right? The catcher literally has to make a perfect throw.
And they're allowed to wear oven mitts that are like, 3 feet longer in their damn hand.
Right. Yeah. So I love it. I mean, and I just don't see the field has adjusted enough for it. So I'm going to continue baking into it. It's not always going to work, but I like it in a good offense because that just helps turn the line over in general. It helps lead to more scoring, more runs, and that's what we're looking for here. Next game on the slate, another good one. We talk about another good park here. This Cracker Jack Park up here in New York, in the Bronx, is just brutal. Wind howling straight out to center field. I mean, you're looking at almost 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight out to center field here. I mean, this is pretty good spot. The only issue is Waka's not a slouch. I mean, he's not great by any means, but he's not a slouch. And then you got Max Fried, who we both loved a ton. It could go south, though. I mean, you start walking guys, one fly ball blows out of that stadium there. I love the Yankees here. I think the Yankees are really good. I think they're going to be more popular personally than what the Dodgers come in at. But, again, projected ownership is staying in check here. I still don't care. I love Ben Rice leading off. Think he's great. Jazz Chisholm's found his stick. Aaron Judge, obviously, probably has the best home run odds on the slate by far. Austin Wells. I mean, this is a good lineup here, and I like him a ton here tonight, even against a decent real-life arm in Waka that I'm still not too scared of.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have the lefties on the Yankees. He's got a higher ground ball lead by almost 10% to righties, 44-34. So fly ball percentage, 5 points higher the lefties. So, Ben Rice, top of that lineup. Bellinger, Chisholm finally hit a home run yesterday after talking shit for a while there and didn't do much, but plenty of lefties here. And, of course, you could always throw Aaron Judge in. You could throw Aaron Judge in against anybody. Captain America of the World Baseball team. I saw our boy Trout say, he should be damn, captain. But, so I can't wait for that baseball classic. I think that is one great thing they've added to the overall baseball schedule. A lot of fun. But, hey, man, Japan's won like 3 out of 5 times. So come on, Captain America. Let's get our shit together. But, man, when that one year, I think it was Adam Jones, didn't he steal one like in center field? Man, that was an awesome game. Just to see these guys, they treat it like World Series games. I mean, it's awesome. I think it's one of the best things baseball does. So, but these Yankees here today, though, are definitely in play. As we mentioned, I think there's all kinds of different stacks and different ways and routes you can go here today. I mean, this game's at 8.5. The first 3 we talked about, 9, 8.5, and 9. We haven't even got into the 5 games or so that are 7.5 in front of us. But yeah, so coming out the gate, hey, we got some games. It looks like in the past, earlier this season, all the scoring was done late and all the high over-unders were later in the slate. But, hey, it looks like you can have a little bit of fun today on a Tuesday. Maybe you can, watch most of your team before you have to go to bed and get up in the morning. But, so definitely in play. I don't really care for the Royal side of things here in this one. I mean, Max Fried, I don't really want to attack him there. Seems to have been pitching pretty well. I just, as I mentioned, Kansas City just doesn't hit enough home runs for me overall. And I'm just going to try to stay away from teams like that as the season goes on. But as I tweeted yesterday when I was talking about the at-bat to home run ratio, I was really surprised with the Indians. That was one I've been kind of ripping on them, been, bunching them with the Royals and teams that, I know this didn't have power. So, I like to kind of look in. It's not something I always like to look at, but I like to see how teams are progressing, how many at-bats that's moved. And, they're obviously hitting. It's just something I like to look at. Basically, overall, that's what game we're playing, right? Which teams are hitting the ball, which teams are not. So definitely something there. But, yeah, I'm going to stay away from the Royals. Yankees definitely in play.
Yeah, the only thing that gives me a little concern is Waka in his plate appearances against this current Yankees roster. He does have a 34% K rate against these guys with a expected batting average of 195 and actual batting average of 0.139. Do I think that's not? Do I think that's the end all be all? No, but is it enough to kind of be a little concerned? Yeah. Yankees didn't quite smash up. Who do we pick on yesterday? Carrasco, right? No, the Royals. The Royals faced Cookie. They couldn't hit Cookie yesterday. I don't think they're going to be able to hit Max Fried. So I think we're kind of in lockstep there. Yankees definitely good stack. I'm off the Royals as well. Next game on the slate: Braves and the Blue Jays here. Not one that I'm too interested in bats. This park just overall kind of sucks for offense in general. You just got to really manufacture runs. Blue Jays can be pesky at times, but again, we're looking for home runs, and they just don't hit a ton of home runs. Swellenbach's a good real-life arm. Maybe give a little bit more of a look to Gausman. Look at this roster this year. This is a pretty good sample. The Braves played a decent amount of games on the road this year. These guys got 20, 30 at-bats on the road against right-handed pitching and almost a 33% strikeout rate. Only 2 guys in this roster under 20%. I think that's Gausman's nothing crazy, but he had a good start last time. What's your take on there? Gausman versus Braves, and then any hitters here?
Yeah, I just think there's too many options today for me to press it and try to force in a team like the Braves. Gausman, generally doesn't get blown up. I just don't want to go there. We got a low total 7.5 out there in Toronto, but yeah, I'll just leave it be. I like. I'm not going to stack the Blue Jays for sure, or even looking at any kind of Blue Jays against Swellenbach. But, for the Brave side, even if you were thinking about it, I'll leave Gausman alone. Like I said, we got 11 game slate, a lot of opportunities out there. These 7.5 games, for the most part, I'd probably be crossing them all off.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Gausman has fared pretty good against his Braves team as well. They're also going to be without Ozuna, right? Ozuna's on the shelf this entire road trip here for the Braves. He went back to, I think, to get x-rays on his hand or something I saw. So no, Ozuna definitely hurts this offense a lot. And Gausman, 44 plate appearances, 27% K rate, coming off a decent start. I don't think it's the craziest take in the world. He's going to be sub 10% owned at 8,500 there. But again, there's so many arms priced $2,000 cheaper than him that probably you can argue, right? Are at today's world. Gausman's what, 42, 41? The dude's old as dirt. He's still got upside though. I think just strictly due to the matchup, we want to attack this Braves roster as it is currently with right-handed pitching. At least I do. So I have a little bit of interest. He will definitely make my MME pool. Probably don't get to him on a main team, but didn't want to call that out. Next game on the slate: Tigers, Brewers. Flaherty on the hill. Brewers are kind of an easy cross-off, but they are better against right-handed pitching. They do have a lot of good lefties in here. Frelick, Turang, Yelich, Mitchell. Oliver Dunn's not the worst thing. He's kind of boom or bust, but the Brewers will run as well. They haven't run quite as much this year as last year because they just have to be on base to steal bases, and that's been a struggle for them. So what's your take here? Tigers did their job yesterday. I think they're interesting here again today, especially at these salaries as a value stack, and they're going overlooked here. Brewers have the 3rd worst bullpen in baseball so far this year, and Quinn Priester's nothing to kind of bat an eye at to start here. So I don't mind some of these Tigers guys. Kerry Carpenter, Torkelson, Riley Green. I prefer the lefties a little bit more, but Torkelson's just locked in right now. Colt Keith, McKinstry, Dylan Dingler. I like these guys a little bit here. What's your take on your hometown boys?
Yeah, I like some Tigers against Priester. You mentioned, too, that bullpen of the Brewers is not faring too well this year. I like to look at bullpens along the way, too, as the season goes. we're looking at Washington, Angels, Milwaukee, Colorado, Cubs, A's, Phillies, St. Louis, Miami. I mean, these are the top 10 worst bullpens in baseball. But that Brew Crew, I mean, they've already had like 30-some walks, given up 70-some hits already. 44 earned runs. I believe that's the most. And it is, actually. They've given up the most earned runs. So the Tigers are pesky. They're going to make you throw strikes. I mean, that's all they talk about here is professional at-bats for our hitters. It's mentioned quite a bit by the coaching staff when they're being interviewed. Kerry Carpenter is, they call him Kerry Bonds here. We still laugh, and he broke Class A over there from the Indians last year in the playoffs. Dude's been absolutely cheeks all season long. But, I think the Tigers, I mean, you're getting them fairly cheap. Torkelson made his way back in the case over there, just in case you're wondering. He's right down there in the far right corner, which means you're the closest one to being your ass back out of there, too, if he starts going back to hitting the way he does. Chris Shelton fooled us all in Detroit many years ago, the first month, and everyone in Michigan likes to give the Heisman away the first month to a U of M player. So, I mean, we just got to make sure we're not getting overly excited. So, Spencer, you're in the case nice and warm, but you'll be back under my high noon if you don't, keep it going here. But really like what the Tigers are doing. I mean, even Javi Baez is hitting. Like, what's going on here? Kind of interesting. But, yeah, I think Priester, he got beat up pretty good last start out. So I think the Tigers are definitely in play. I like the stack. You did mention there, basically Tigers got a couple lefties in the middle there with Keith and McKinstry. Keith hasn't really been hitting much as far as power, but Dingler is even a power catcher that you can get fairly cheap too at the bottom part of that lineup. So I do like the Tigers. I think they got some potential here tonight. Brew Crew, I mean, remember when the Yankees hit all on home runs, I was giving you shit saying, man, is it the Yankees that good? Or was the Brew Crew pitching that bad? And I haven't seen the Yankees really do that to anybody else along the way. So maybe I was on to something there that first week. So I think the Brew Crew bullpen is definitely something as the season goes that we might be able to look at here. But definitely think it's in play. I'm just not, overly proud of the park they're in. I wish, it's kind of maybe different. I mean, don't really like stacking too much there in Milwaukee. We got a total of 7.5. But, I don't mind the Tigers. I put them in my MME pool. They're definitely not my top 5, though.
Yeah, I'm probably not 5 stacking them, but they fit around teams like the Orioles, the Dodgers, right? The Yankees, because they're cheap. I will say the bottom of the Brewers bullpen is atrocious, right? Guys like Thomas and Payamps are horrible. McGill's been cheeks, but guys like Koenig, right? Patrick, Patrick's a starter, but Hudson, Uribe, Mears, those guys come in. Those guys are good. It's the back. It's the blowout arms or the games that are out of hand are the Brewers bullpen. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, Thomas 20 ERA, Pamps 19 ERA, but then you start getting down to guys like Koenig 2.57, right? Hudson 1.42, Uribe 1.17, Mears and Bowers both sitting at a 0. So they do have good bullpen arms there. But if this game gets out early, which we're not scared of Priester, and they jump out to a 4-5 lead, do the better arms come in? Probably not. It is one call out there. But yeah, as it stands as a total ranking, they're third worst in baseball right now from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, the defense was a little bit yesterday too. I think they only gave up 4 or 5 earned runs of the 9, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, a couple errors there did kind of hurt a little bit. But yeah, I mean, definitely in play. I think the Tigers or a team like to me, like the Rays, even though they're my hometown team, it's just, even for me, it's hard to stack and click them all because you're thinking, really, am I going to get 4 or 5 homers out of these Tigers here today? But I think in certain situations, we're going to have to keep them in mind, especially when you want to pay up higher for pitching. I mean, Torkelson's OPS is it's crazy. So, I mean, definitely got to pay attention. Bonds has definitely got home run potential. I wish Riley Green be hitting a little better. That guy can't hit out of a paper bag. His card might be coming out of there next if he don't start picking it up. But, I think definitely Tigers are in play here today. But let's not be fooled, too. I mean, it's still a game of over, under 7.5, so I'm not going to get too excited.
Yeah, and Vegas still has it as a pick 'em with Jack Flaherty on the hill, right? So I like to look into that a little bit. Run total sitting about the same, right? 3.9, 3.8. And you think that's wild, right? When you got Quinn Priester and Jack Flaherty, right? Tale of two tapes there. So a little interesting there in terms of the line and the totals too as well. Next game on the slate, Twins and the Mets. Two solid enough arms, two offenses I don't love. I would say the Mets are my preferred because I do think Bailey Ober, does pick up more ownership than what McGill does. And the Mets just have better hitters, right? Especially at the top in Lindor, Soto, Alonso. Marte is okay, I guess. Nimmo, sorry for the guy that corrected me in the chat, right, for pronunciations there. I should probably go take up an English major or something and focus on pronunciations, I guess, to give DFS content out. But what's your take here, Mets in the Twins, Gyiraszin?
Yeah, I mean, Bailey Ober, I don't know what to think of this guy, man. Like, I know he's been beat up a little bit. Like, I'm not sure if he's right, like if he's back to where he should be. I mean, last year, man, this guy was auto click for a little while there. We were all pressing his name. I mean, he was just mowing guys down left and right. I mean, this could just be a spot where you take a shot on the Mets here. You can go Lindor. You can go, top of that lineup there, who really don't have too many strikeouts to begin with. They only have three dudes over the 22%. Alonso 24, Vientos 27, and Tyrone Taylor's 23. Everybody else is there in the teens as far as the strikeout goes. Ober 27, 26% on either side. So definitely interesting. But I mean, the Mets do have some upside as far as that lineup goes. I don't mind looking at him here as maybe like a low owned, maybe like a just. It definitely be low owned against an Ober. And I think depending on the site too, I think more so DK, I think you'll get more leverage too by playing a Mets team. So if you're looking for a little bit of leverage against the pitcher today that may get some ownership, just kind of looking up and down the list of games here, I think this one's the one you could look at with the Mets. I mean, who you can't fault you playing Alonso. So, I mean, they all definitely have some potential. So I think the Mets is kind of interesting from that aspect. But other than that, I really don't. I'm really not interested in this Twins lineup at this point either. I mean, the Twins can't seem to score too many runs either themselves here, but you got lesser strikeout right here for the righties. Buxton, Correa, they're about the only two. I don't know what's going on with Buxton. I don't know if they said why he left the team or not, but he did leave for a couple days. I didn't hear why he left. If it was like I think it was for personal reasons. So I don't know if he's right upstairs. If he's dealing with some stuff at home or just dealing with some outside life stuff that could be keeping his concentration down. But Correa's been hitting well. I mean, I just don't like the Twins overall. They're getting to be on my no play list, no fun list, no fun for stacking that team.
We want fun, right? We want fun. Unlike earlier, that got dude in the chat. I will say tonight I'm going to be overweight on the Mets in MME for sure. I mean, Bailey Ober last year was an auto click. He'd probably be a lock for everybody on the slate at 6,700. That's been not the case. I mean, looking at his last 30-day numbers, yeah, he finally put together a good start last game. But looking at his start, I mean, a 200 ISO, a fly ball rate almost approaching 40%. So, I mean, Lindor, Tyrone Tracy, Torrens, Alonso are kind of the guys this season that have the fly ball rates for the Mets. And then you go to last season, obviously Juan Soto jumps in there. Nimmo jumps in there. So I think these Mets have upside, and especially at these projected ownerships here. It's not the greatest hitting environment, but wind's still blowing out to right center field at double digits. So I don't hate it. Obviously, that's where the power alley is, right? 400, 365 area. But guys like Soto, Lindor, Alonso don't care how far the fence is, right? They're pushing to hit it 400 plus easily. So definitely overweight on the Mets side in tournaments. I like McGill as well, a decent amount, and then Bailey Ober if you need to. But I put guys like Charlie Morton down there, I think, slightly ahead of Bailey Ober, just strictly due to matchup here. Next game, Athletics, White Sox, Burke on the hill, who's been abysmal. Jeffrey Springs on the hill, who's been good, but he's a fly ball guy. White Sox aren't as good or don't strike out quite as much against lefties. Obviously, you want to look at that, look at this and see that. But a lot of these guys are limited samples, right? And this is this number right here is inflated by a dude that has a sample size of one at bat. What's your take here? Athletics and White Sox for you.
Man, White Sox just flat out stink. Just trade Lewis Robert and move on. I mean, he's the only guy you could even think about playing here. I mean, I wouldn't even stack him up for the leverage against Spring. You know, if you wanted to get some leverage against Springs, especially at DK as SP2, I mean, no way. You just can't even stack the White Sox. I mean, I'd have to smoke a couple infused big fatties to even think about that with Nades. And I still don't think my brain could trick me into clicking a bunch of White Sox. So we're not going to do that. I mean, game total sitting here 7.5 now. If this game was out there in Sacramento, man, we might have a different story. I'd be all over them A's because the A's obviously been one of the better hitting teams in baseball. We like that stadium out there in California. I can't wait till they get back. It's like the new Coors Field out there. But Burke, I'm not going to really go after Burke here. I mean, he's got some strikeout percentages. I mean, you look at these A's, you got the 2-3-4 hitter, 30, 23, 24%, really 26%. So middle part of that lineup does have some strikeouts. Another game total 7.5. I just don't see the reason to either play either team. So I think we could just kind of move on by. I don't even really like any one-offs in this one either.
Yeah, I have a little bit more interest in the A's. I just think this offense is pretty solid in general. I mean, Soderstrom, Rooker, Langeliers, Butler, some of those guys I don't mind. But again, not probably getting to any full stacks here, and I don't love it, to be honest. So let's move on. Temperatures are in the 50s as well. There's some slight wind blowing out, but it's come down from even when I wrote the slate plan. It's come down, and you know how Windy City is down there in Chicago. Wind can shift on a dime. So wind blowing out could shift by the time first pitch or even mid-game to blowing straight in, and that's not great by any means. Next game on the slate, Astros and the Cardinals. Fetty Wap, Hunter Brown. What's your take here? 4 total for the Astros, 3.7 for the Cardinals here. Cardinals beat up Framber yesterday. Now they face Hunter Brown, who I don't love picking on. Fetty Wap, I always try and stack against this dude. It just never seems to go my way. This Astro team has been cheeks all season long. This is a game I'm just not intrigued to go to, but you see anyone here?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Fetty there. I mean, how many times we stack against him, that Korean old KBO pitcher here, and just doesn't ever seem to pan out. Like he just don't seem to blow up. So yeah, I'm kind of done chasing that rabbit too. I mean, I think we did it a few times last year. I can recall talking about it, but yeah, I'm not interested in going after Hunter Brown here with any of these Cards batters. Fetty, I'll pass. I mean, that bottom part of that Houston lineup that's just puke. I'm not even interested in that.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. So yeah, I'm moving on there. Spiz, I'm just listen, I don't try and pronounce names wrong. Obviously I do so pretty frequently, but hey, I'll work on it and come back stronger next
don't do hockey.
Yeah, I'll come back stronger next time. But let's jump into this one. Kikuchi, Male on the Hill, Rangers, Angels, and I saw our guy in the chat. Dark Knight was posting stats about Male's BABIP numbers and thinks there's some severe regression coming his way. Angels team been one of the best offenses in baseball through the start of the year, which I think surprised everyone. I mean, especially in home run division. But you want to play the Angels when Mike Trout is healthy, and he looks pretty damn good out there right now. So what's your take here? Not the best park, but again, I like picking on Male a little bit here, and don't love picking on Kikuchi, but when Kikuchi's off, he's really off. And guys like Adolis, I mean, Corey Seager lefty, but that doesn't really matter too much. He can hit lefties. Adolis hits lefties good. Josh Young hits lefties good. Jake Berger, a lefty masher. Higashioka, lefty masher. I mean, what's your take here? I think it's a decently interesting game.
The Angels, to me, are one of my favorite stacks in the whole day. I mean, obviously, they've been hitting. I mean, they got 28 homers or 27 or 28 homers against righties. It's the most in baseball. They got the third highest slugging percentage against righties. And, you know, if you would have told me that after 5-6 weeks of the season that the Angels were going to be in a position like that, I probably would have laughed at you. So even looking at the lineup they have, you know, like it's not something you would have predicted, which I thought was really interesting. So I do like the Angels here. Male, as you mentioned, doesn't really scare me. His strikeout percentage against righties is just absolutely terrible. I mean, we're going to sit here. Are we going to see I mean, they're gonna throw 8 righties at him here, Nades. I mean, they're gonna beat him all the way up and down.
They're all going to be righties. Rengifo is a switch hitter. He's going to hit from the right side of the plate, so he's going to get 9 righties to face.
Nolan Schanuel is the only guy I don't even know how to say his name, Schanuel, but he's going to be the only lefty that I can see in the projected lineup. I didn't see if it was out yet, but I mean, Ward's been hitting homers, Trout's been hitting, Soler, Ohape. I mean, all these guys have been hitting. So I'm just going to ride the train here. That Texas bullpen is not very good either. So I don't mind attacking that. It was definitely one of the worst in all of baseball last year. They're actually like 12th or 13th year. So I kind of think that it's going to get a little worse for them as time goes. But yeah, I don't respect that bullpen at all. So I think it's definitely an attack spot. And then the best part is we actually get that 9th inning guaranteed at bat. So definitely like, the Wards, the Rafignos, Trout, Solers. I think you might get the top 4 here, might get 5 at bats today. So definitely like the Angels. I may as well rank them on number 1 stack.
Yeah, Angels, I'm with you there. I like the Angels. They're going to be pretty sneaky here tonight as well. And full 9 inning at bats here against Mali and not great bullpen. I think the Rangers' pen this year is 11th worst. They sit right now. So I definitely like the Angels. I'm with you there. Kyron Paris, you can't forget about him. Barry Bonds Jr., right? I mean, this dude just smashing home runs left and right. Second, you can play him at second base, which is always nice. I like this team. The corpse of Tim Anderson, I hate, but he's 2,500 and he's not been abysmal this year. I mean, he's at least been semi-serviceable. I don't love him. I much prefer everybody else in this lineup to him. But if you need a 2,500 dude at second base, you can definitely play him. And then on the Rangers side, don't love picking on Kikuchi, but if Kikuchi's off, like I said, he's really off. So it'd be more just one-offs or maybe 2-man stacks for me from the Rangers side.
I think Kikuchi, going off top of my brain, I'll look it up. I think he's given at least 3 earned runs and a home run every start. I think Kikuchi has, if I'm not mistaken. So, but let me ask you, Nades, I know we got a couple games left. If there was any game you would game stack, which one would it be? Would it be this one that we're talking about?
I would probably game stack. Yeah, I mean, that one's close. I would probably game stack the Rays and Red Sox just due to the park and the weather. Personally, just going on, Pepio's a fly ball guy and Beeler is still coming back from injury there. So that's probably the game I would game stack on. But yeah, I don't mind that the Angels and the Rangers here. It's not the greatest park, but it's not terrible by any means. It's indoors, obviously. And it's just, I don't think you need to pick on Kikuchi in terms of full stacks personally. He has fared pretty good against this. He has fared pretty good against this team in his career. He's sitting about a 30% K rate, batting average sitting about 221 for the Texas hitters against him. 2 games left to talk about. Cubs, Padres, next one. Randy Vasquez doesn't scare me at all. I'm on the Cubs train here tonight. They got this pesky Cubs team, man. They just do their thing. They got to Cease. Cease was kind of rolling, and then guess what? Cubs just start chipping away, and my boy, Pete Crow Armstrong, nobody ever plays him. Dude just gets on base, swipes. He can hit for power. Carson Kelly, if he's in there, just mashes. I mean, I love the Cubs here tonight. They're not going to be popular again. And this has been best offense in baseball, if not one of them, over the course of the season. And Vasquez isn't going to strike you out. He's going to go up there. He's going to throw strikes and give you balls to hit. And Cubs are a patient offense. They don't strike out, and they put the ball in play and have stolen base upside. I love the Cubs here tonight. What's your take here, Cubs and the Padres?
Yeah, dude, Vasquez, he's got a really low strikeout rate. It's like 8% to lefties. And I was looking at his numbers, and I think he walked, I think he's walked twice as many dudes as he struck out, man. So, I mean, that's going to catch him. As you said, the Cubs are pretty patient. So that's definitely in play here today. But, yeah, I like the lefties. Tucker, I mean, he's going to be one of the top bats. Happ, Bush. We all like some Bush, don't we? But PCA, I think, is in there. But, yeah, I'd have them in my top of my stacks here. But to definitely like some Cubbies here. I think the Cubbies would be up there with my Angel stack. That's for sure. Then, yeah, definitely talking about the roof. Roof being open where? In Texas?
Yeah, roof is open in Texas. Temperatures look to be in the 70s. So not great. Some
I
slight
was like,
wind
you talking
blowing
about
in.
Arizona? I was like, wait a minute. My brain didn't catch. It took a minute there, Izzy.
Yeah,
For
but
me.
naturally the roof open is going to help the ball carry a little bit more in general. So I don't mind it for sure. But yeah, I'm with you. I love the Cubs.
I like that one, Jordan.
Yeah, no, that's I was gonna comment on that too. Newman's already said that's more in your.
I'm from the 90s, man.
Yeah,
Our Playboys had them big fuzzy ones on them. That's just the way it is.
that's your day and age.
But hey, you got to keep a clean workspace if you want to play in this day and age. So, that's my only advice. So the Manscaped commercials and all that, somebody said, hey, I can watch as long as you guys don't do Manscaped commercials. We ain't gonna do that. We don't really need all that business, but yeah, maybe a dispensary commercial. That's what we need, Nate.
Yeah, we're in. I'm in there. Full Senate. But yeah, I'm with you. I love the Cubs here. And to Rio's chat, right? Randy is Cheeks. Yeah, he is Cheeks. Hopefully I can get this dude right when stacking against him one time, and I hope it's the Cubs here because I like the Cubs a ton. Padres side, this offense has just been abysmal with the injuries. I mean, two of your best hitters are on the shelf, and you got guys like Oscar Gonzalez, Gurriel, who can't find his way on a major league roster. I mean, Iglesias is going to get pinch hit for. Diaz sucks. Connor Joe he was okay a little bit in Pittsburgh for a while there. I mean, he's got some power against lefties, but do you really want to pick on a guy like Imanaga in a bad ballpark in general? I mean, I don't think with a bad roster, I don't love it. I mean, the top of the lineup, sure. Tatis murdering baseballs right now. He's fine, but you're paying $6,200. You got to pay him. You got to pay, I mean, what, $500 more for him than Mike Trout with full 9 inning at bats. I don't love it here. So takes us to the last game of the slate. This is definitely going to be the chalk here. Feltner's a little bit better than Sentenzella, but it's still a horrible, horrible bullpen behind him. They did throw their lefty last night as well. I don't know how many lefty relievers Colorado has, but they did throw one of them last night. Nonetheless, the Dodgers left, 11 runs on base last night or 12 runs? Me and Rio, we're playing PGA 2K on the old PC here last night, sweating out baseball, and we about chucked our controllers through our monitors about 15 times when bases were loaded for the Dodgers. Frickin' Kiki, do you love me? Didn't love us yesterday. Comes up, flies out. Tommy Edman, Conforto. I mean, the list goes on and on. Ohtani, 3 inches away from 3 home runs last night instead of just 1. But right back on the wagon here tonight. Dodgers, they're hard to play, but we have cheap pitching, so definitely expect the Dodgers to be kind of mega chalk leading up to lock here because it's easy to fit them here tonight with all the cheap pitching on the slate, and it's the best spot on the board for sure. Nothing more to really say about that. What do you have to say here? Last game of the night.
I prefer the lefty side actually here against Feltner. So Freeman, Conforto, Edman. I mean, he hit 6 home runs already. But I think I would probably focus a little bit more on the lefties instead of jamming in Mookie, Teoscar, and so forth. So definitely like the lefty side of the Dodgers. I mean, hey, if you can work the 2 LA teams in your lineup here tonight, I think that might be a decent way to go. But yeah, I like the 2 LA teams. I mean, like you said, I mean, Ohtani, and it's fun rooting on a team, a stack like that. Ohtani just missed his 3rd bomb yesterday. So obviously he's seen it well, but yeah, Dodgers owe us some cheese. It's nothing fun. I've always liked the Dodgers. Dodgers became one of my favorite teams through baseball as I've been playing DFS for the last 12 or 13 years.
Every slate. I mean, if you play the Dodgers every time they're on the slate, you are going to be profitable at the end of the season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the stack, they're going to be at the top of the run list. I mean, it's on the other end of the spectrum. I talk about, I don't want to stack up teams that can't score runs. Well, then I want to stack teams that can. Obviously, the Dodgers are going to be that team. But, as we know, we're playing with a salary cap, so you can't just do that. But I think there's a lot of options here at pitching today that are going to help you get that. As you mentioned, if anybody's going to be chalky, it's definitely going to be the Dodgers. We're going to be chasing the Colorados, the Miamis. Some of these bullpens are just absolutely trash. Washington's bullpen. And on the other side too, Colorado sitting here, I think I was just looking, they've given up the most home runs for a bullpen so far this year. So yeah, definitely like the upside there that the Dodgers are bringing us today.
Yeah, I think ownership's going to spread out enough. I mean, the Yankees are at home in a good park, right? Good weather. It's not the greatest weather here in LA. I mean, temperatures are when I pulled it up, 60 degrees, 8-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. But again, I mean, it just doesn't matter. It's bad pitching. I mean, Feltner does have a ground ball lean, especially to righties, but Mookie, I mean, hits the ball in the air. I mean, my favorite play on the slate is probably Freddie Freeman. 5K, he looked good. He just missed a bomb yesterday, hit it 3/4 of the way up the wall on a fly. I love the Dodgers here. Not going to be sneaky by any means, but again, play the back half of this lineup. Play guys like Tommy Edman, play Conforto even after what he did to me yesterday. And, I mean, Muncy, Pages, or Pages, however you pronounce it, and whoever else makes this lineup. I love it.
We haven't seen too many pitch hits either. It seems like the Dodgers haven't been, Roberts kind of toned it down a little bit.
That's what I said to Rio last night. I said, I think Dave Roberts finally realizes that his roster is just so much ahead of the entire team and the entire league that he's just going to – the guys that get the start are going to go out there and finish the game, right? I just think that's where he's in, right? I just think it's a business, and he's like, if my guys get hurt and these guys have to play, they have to learn how to hit it. So why not just let them go out there and in these regular season games and just play the entire game? It's kind of how I've been approaching it, and that's what we've seen so far, which it wasn't the case for sure last year. I mean, the back half after the top 5, Dodgers were all pinch hit risk last year. It's not been the case this year, and I like it. It gives them definitely more upside built in terms of stacking the team for DFS. Favorite segment of the show here, Gyiraszin home run calls and your favorite pitcher on the slate that you're going to be shoving on. Give the people.
Yeah, I'll be shoving Flaherty. I think Flaherty's one of the, especially at 9K. If he was 10K, 10.5, I wouldn't have as much interest, but at 9K, especially with some of the options we have, especially on DK and FanDuel, I plan on using them. I'm chasing that quality start over there. As far as the home run goes, Nades, I think I already mentioned it a little bit earlier. I am going to go with Mr. Mountcastle over there with the Orioles. I like the righties over there. So, but yeah, overall, I think it's a great slate. Again, I just want to apologize for me getting a little pissed off a little earlier about, some chiming in the chat. I like to have as much fun as anybody. But when you don't even know me or anything else and you want to call me names over an insinuation about some stupid politics, I don't come here to talk politics. But if you'd like to, you're more than happy to come over and we can talk all you want. But we'll do that in private. I'll have a high noon with you, kick you in the ass, even if I don't agree with you, and still shake your hand on the way out. I don't give a shit. But Nades, sometimes that stuff just gets under my nerves. And, we all need to be for each other, man. That's what we're all about. Like, we all are playing DFS. We're all here together. We all have something in common. And, I don't give a crap. I'm not bringing any of that to the table. If I so, I'd be wearing the Trump MAGA hat.
Your mic cut out as soon as you said that, so maybe that's a sign.
Have some fun, man. I like to get people going. So,
amen. I'm with you there. I'm shoving on Flaherty there too. I mean, I'm just it's against my Brewers, but I don't care. I prefer money over fandom any day, and twice on a Tuesday. So I'm going with Flaherty there, and then my home run calls. I'm going to the Yankees. I'm going to lead off Ben Rice. I'm going to a pair of first basemen, so you can't play them together. I'm going Ben Rice, and then I'm going all the way down Freddie Freeman. I think Freddie Freeman's the best play in the slate. Obviously, you can't stack those two guys together. But I love Freddie Freeman. I think he's the best play in the slate by far. And he's still 85 to 90% of the field is not going to play him. So I love Freeman. I love me some Ben Rice. That's going to do it. Flaherty as well. Good luck tonight in those contests. Appreciate everyone tuning in. All the interaction in the chat. Fun interaction. That's what we do it here for. We can't do it with these shows if nobody was out there watching, talking, and hanging out with us. So we appreciate y'all. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on the way out. Even if you don't agree with us, that's fine. We'll still love you the same no matter what. For Gyiraszin, I'm Nades. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.